All right, everybody, buckle up. I'm going to tell you the story about my cat and her allergies. I had two elderly cats, and they passed away, so I decided to get another cat. And I decided to get a rag doll because they're supposed to be floppy and very sweet, but I couldn't afford to buy one. So I found a rag doll that was up for adoption. That was long story about that, but she was stressed and urinating on the furniture, and it was not a good environment for her at all. And she's still fairly traumatized. But the allergies, I thought I had enough issues dealing with that, and I had her for about 6 months, and I took her to the cattery, cat sitting place, because I needed to go out of town. And when I picked her up, I noticed she had some sort of bumps on the back of her neck. And I thought, that's odd. I took her to the vet, and she said it's flea bites. So fine. Lots and lots of cats in this place, and many of them are outdoors. You can't get rid of all the fleas. So I needed to go out of town again. So I gave her flea treatments, and I took her back. And she came home and she still was having issues. And I put it must have been like 8 trips to the vet. And after like the second visit, they said it could be food allergies. And I was like, she's very young. She was like a year and a half at the time. And they said she can be allergic to protein. And I, to be honest, was like, what are you talking about? That's just not a thing, because denial is not just a river in Egypt. So I probably, in hindsight, spent too much time trying to figure out something else rather than just doing what they suggested, which was a food elimination diet. So I'm going to show you some pictures of what she looked like, with the little bumps. They gave me some kind of lotion to put on, and she kind of reacted to that, made it way worse. She went through lots of rounds of antibiotics and steroid creams and ear infections. Apparently that is another symptom of allergies, which again I was in denial about. So I eventually decided she should see a dermatologist, and I was already 2 or 3 months in at this point. And the dermatologists for cats are booked 3, 4, 5 months out. So in the meantime, she was suffering. I couldn't do anything until I saw the vet, and I don't think my regular veterinarian was super helpful, other than they know that there's a food allergy. They didn't really recommend any prescription food at that point. And again, I probably was a little bit resistant because I was kind of in denial. Did end up, before going to the vet, she was destroying, I'll show you pictures of her destroying her face. I put a cone on her, and here's a picture of her looking really sad because she'd never had a cone on her head. But she very quickly figured out how to bite other parts of her body, because her skin was, with the allergies, was inflamed and itching. It must have been really, really horrible for her. So I'll show you, the cone wasn't big enough, and I could not find any kind of relief for her because there's no cone big enough. And I ended up constructing a dog cone and a smaller cone and duct taping them together, and she looked absolutely ridiculous, but I had no choice because she was literally chewing herself up. So I got to the dermatologist, and they're basically like, yeah, we have to take care of the food first. And I guess in hindsight, some of the things that were frustrating was, why did they have to do the food first? They just didn't really explain things very well to me. And my regular vet did not communicate very well with the dermatologist and vice versa. So I feel like there was, you know, if I knew then what I know now, I would have made them share notes, called and make sure the notes were shared, updated them myself. Um, so she started on a prescription diet. Uh, I will say they tried to put her on a food that doesn't have protein. It tricks the body into thinking it's a protein, and it's looks like nasty gray jello. And of course, she wouldn't eat that. So we went to a prescription a diet of food that cats don't normally eat. It's called a non-specific protein or something like that. Um, so we tried rabbit, and she had a reaction to that. And then I had to go to kangaroo. Now, the problem with these things is it takes weeks and weeks. And I spent, I don't know how many weeks with the rabbit to figure out it wasn't getting better. And then they won't give her any other medicines. So you just have to wait. And it takes months of this food elimination. So she had to do at least 3 months of this kangaroo, and she didn't get any better. So it was very torturous. And after the food, really, it wasn't the food. And I guess they just never really explain, the process. So anyone who's on this journey, I want to just let you know you're not alone. Ask questions, ask for clarification. So after they realized it was not the food, they have to do allergy testing, and this is very expensive. I think it was about $1,200 to $1,400. They shave her side, and they poke her with 50 different things, and she can't have any medicine up to the point that they do the allergy testing, because it could skew the test. So again, I had to take her off the steroids that she was on, and the things that were keeping her skin, because at that point I had to give her something that was really bad. So that was hard, because she had to go off all of the medication she was on, and they did the test. And then she started on a drug called Apoquil, and that drug works great. So she was taking that, and the allergy test came back. She's allergic to dust, mainly. I live in a 100-year-old building, and it's kind of dusty, but who knew? So, ironically, cats can be allergic to humans. She could have been allergic to human dander, which would have been really unfortunate. So I've bought air filters and extra vacuums and cleaning and dust mite covers on the bed in case, whatever. So then it takes about another 2-3 weeks to develop, maybe over a month to get the results back. And then they build up a serum. And so I have to give her a shot. And the idea is you give her the serum, and her body builds up an immunity to those things she's allergic to. So while that's happening, she's still on the Apoquil. She starts doing her shots, and she takes a smaller dose and works up to, over the course of 3 or 4 weeks, to a regular shot. And then they tried to take her off the Apoquil. So instead of twice a day, she went down to 1 a day. And of course, she immediately flared back up. So at this point, she's been doing the serum shots for a while, and she's still on the Apoquil. So I'm not sure what happens, after, if she stops taking it, is she going to flare up again? The shots made her vomit, which was really unfortunate. So I reduced, they went to instead of every week with the shot, every 2 weeks, and they just reduced her dose again because she would throw up. Took me a few rounds because I thought maybe it was too much food, or wasn't sure why she was throwing up. I didn't make that connection. So then in the midst of that, they said you can start introducing food again. It had been 3 or 4 months, maybe longer, since she had all the food challenges. So I give her chicken for 2 weeks, and she had no reaction. Um, then I take her, nothing for 2 weeks except her regular kangaroo, which she's still eating. And then I did fish, and now we're on beef. And so she hasn't had any reactions to any of those foods, which is great. But we're going on over a year and a half. She's still on Apoquil. She's still doing her serum, and she doesn't get seen again. It's August right now. She gets seen again in December, at which point they will probably try to wean her off the Apoquil and see if the serum's working. There's also no guarantee that the serum will work for every animal, so that was a little bit stressful to not really know yet. So yeah, that's the cat allergy journey. I had no idea that that was a thing. I was a little bit surprised, and the Apoquil is expensive every month, and the shots, the serum that she takes is expensive. So it's been, and every time you go to the vet, it's $100 to $300. So it's been thousands of dollars in, and I guess that's where we're at right now. And when I take her again in December and start weaning her from the Apoquil, I can do a follow-up to let you know how that went. So if you have any questions or you've experienced something similar, there's also a lot of dogs at the vet, and they're all doing the same thing. Shaving their side, getting the allergy testing, they're all on Apoquil and the serums. And I think being a dermatology vet is probably pretty lucrative. So anyway, thanks for listening. Cheers.